Today I'm going over the top foods to prevent breast cancer or keep it from coming back. This is an important video for all women to watch. I've completely changed my diet after learning about these foods, and I'll be sharing the amazing research. Studies being done to prove how these foods can dramatically reduce our risk of breast cancer. You see, certain foods have the ability to attack breast cancer cells from multiple angles. They can take away all the things that breast cancer cells love, like estrogen, inflammation, free radicals, or insulin. If there's anything I've learned from studying cancer nutrition for over 17 years, it's that what we eat is the best way to beat cancer. So let's dive in with food number 1, and this might be a shock to some of you, but it's soy. So many doctors are still telling their breast cancer patients to stay away from soy, but that's old news. In fact, it's embarrassing how incorrect that is. I'm also guilty of telling my patients to avoid soy in the past, because we used to think that because soy contains a plant-based estrogen, our body would react to it in the same way it does human estrogen and potentially be fueling breast cancer. But more recently, we've discovered that the way our body reacts to plant estrogen is completely different. It's actually the opposite of what we thought. Instead of fueling cancer cell growth, soy stops them from growing. So how did we get this so wrong? The problem was that until 2009, there were actually no human studies on soy and breast cancer, but there were a bunch of animal studies, mostly mice. But it turns out mice metabolize soy completely different from humans. Plus, eating soy blocks something called aromatase. This is an enzyme in fat cells that can basically create more estrogen in your body. So soy actually helps to fight cancer in 2 ways. If you're still not convinced, listen to this. A study was done in Texas on a group of women who drank 3 12-oz glasses of soy milk a day for 1 month, just 1 month. And they did blood tests before and after to measure their estrogen levels. At the end of the month, their estrogen levels dropped by 30 to 80% in every single participant, and their estrogen levels stayed lower for an extra 2 to 3 months after the study. So, am I telling you to drink soy milk all day long? No. But not only do you no longer have to be afraid of soy, it's actually now recommended as a top food for preventing breast cancer. So maybe replace the coffee creamer with soy milk in the morning. Or try to eat a bit of tofu here and there. I love tofu. I eat it like 3 times a week in my salads. So if you know of any good tofu recipes, I'd really love it if you could share them in the comments below for us. Okay, the second type of food to fight breast cancer is garlic and onions. I'm grouping these together because they have similar ways of preventing breast cancer. They contain sulfur compounds and flavonoids that have antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties that will protect you from getting breast cancer in several ways. I've been adding onions and garlic to all my meals. I especially love sautéing spinach or broccoli in some olive oil and garlic. It's so good. Speaking of broccoli, this brings us to food number 3 to prevent breast cancer, which are cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, or Brussels sprouts, for example. Some would actually argue that these are the most effective foods for preventing breast cancer. But here's a very important tip. To get more bang for your buck, you want to eat these veggies raw or lightly steamed, because there's an enzyme in them called myrosinase that activates a powerful cancer-fighting compound in them, but these enzymes get destroyed by heat or cooking. I like to buy this kale and broccoli mix. It's so easy to just throw into a salad or stir-fry, and it is still beneficial to eat these vegetables cooked, but maybe while they're roasting in the oven, you can snack on a few pieces of raw broccoli or cauliflower with some hummus. Not only that, cruciferous vegetables are really high in fiber. You may not know this, but the more fiber you eat, the better your chances of fighting breast cancer. Fiber binds to estrogen in your digestive tract and makes you poop it out. They say that eating around 30 grams of fiber a day will lower your breast cancer risk by 40%. Fiber also lowers your blood sugar levels and prevents things that can lead to cancer like diabetes or inflammation. Cancer cells love inflammation, and if your blood sugar levels are consistently high, there's a good chance you'll have chronic inflammation. So that's why the less sugar you eat, the better, and the more fiber you eat, the better. Another great source of fiber are flax seeds, and that's cancer-fighting food number 4. Flax seeds are the most concentrated source of omega-3 fatty acids on the planet, and they have over 100 times more lignans than any other food. Why does that matter? Well, lignans are known as anti-estrogens, and they attack breast cancer cells. Now listen to this. In a study of 45 women who had breast biopsies done and showed that they had precancerous cells, which put them at a high risk for getting breast cancer, they were given 1 teaspoon of ground flax seeds a day for 1 year. They didn't change anything else about their diet or lifestyle. The biopsies were repeated at the end of the year in the exact same spot they were performed before, and they found that there were no more precancerous cells in over 30% of the women. Here's another example. A study with 32 breast cancer patients was done, and they were all given a muffin to eat each day. And again, they didn't make any other changes. Rather than eating this muffin, half of the women were given a muffin that contained 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds, and the other half were given a muffin that contained no flax seeds. They ate these muffins every day for 5 weeks before their breast cancer surgery, and the results were crazy. They analyzed 3 different things about their tumors. They analyzed how fast their breast cancer cells were multiplying and dividing, what percentage of their cells had committed cell suicide, something called apoptosis, and they measured their levels of CRB2, which is an aggressive cancer marker. In the group of women who ate the muffins with only 2 tablespoons of flaxseed a day for 5 weeks, their cancer cell division rate was 34% lower. Their cancer cell suicide rate was 31% higher, and the aggressive cancer marker was 71% lower. I mean, in just 5 weeks of eating flaxseed, that's amazing. So let's all run. Don't walk to the grocery store to buy some flaxseed. You can put them in smoothies, on salads, bake them into bread, or I have some patients who just eat them by the teaspoon. Okay, another high-fiber anti-breast cancer superfood, I think this is number 5 now, are berries. Berries have more antioxidants than most other foods on the planet. Great for cancer prevention. But also 1 cup of raspberries or blackberries has 8 grams of fiber. So remember I said earlier that we should aim to get 30 grams of fiber a day for breast cancer prevention. And actually, this is interesting. Guess what percentage of Americans actually get that much fiber each day? Only 3%. So I have a story that will motivate you to not be like the 97% of people who don't get enough fiber. A big research study looked at 1,500 women and found a link between the number of precancerous breast cells and how often they had a bowel movement. So the people who pooped less than twice a week versus those who went more than once a day were 4.2 times more likely to have precancerous cells in their breast. So let's all make a pact to try to add more fiber to our diet starting today. The next breast cancer superfood for your grocery list are tomatoes. Tomatoes contain something magical called lycopene. This lowers inflammation like nothing else. But unlike the cruciferous vegetables I was talking about earlier, which are best eaten raw so their enzymes don't get destroyed, heating tomatoes for at least 15 minutes actually increases the amount of lycopene that we're able to absorb by 300%. And lycopene is fat-soluble, so this means that you'll absorb more of it if you combine it with fat. So roast your tomatoes in the oven with olive or avocado oil, and always add these healthy oils to your tomato sauces too. All right, cancer-fighting food number 7. Mushrooms. Now, there are a lot of different types of mushrooms, and most of them have different benefits when it comes to cancer prevention. You may have heard of some of the fancy ones like turkey tail mushrooms or chaga mushrooms for cancer prevention. But honestly, even the little white button mushrooms you'll find at the grocery store are equally as impressive. Button mushrooms have high amounts of flavones and isoflavones that are known to block estrogen because they inhibit an enzyme called aromatase. But the good news is, especially if you don't like mushrooms, you only need 10 grams of button mushrooms a day to reap the benefits, and that's only half a button mushroom. Who would have thought that half a mushroom a day could keep breast cancer away? Women in China tend to eat a lot of mushrooms because in traditional Chinese medicine, they're very aware of all the amazing health benefits mushrooms have. So it's said that Chinese women have lower breast cancer rates because of it. Speaking of Asian cuisine, breast cancer superfood number 8 is seaweed. A Korean study showed that eating seaweed or nori every day, like the ones you would eat in sushi rolls, can drop our breast cancer risk by 50%. I love the seaweed snacks you can buy at Costco, actually of all places. But they're the perfect snack for when you want something salty. Breast cancer superfood. Number 9. Certain nuts and seeds. Almonds, walnuts, and chia seeds in particular are packed with healthy fats, fiber, and very important vitamins and nutrients. Walnuts especially contain a type of polyphenol that can slow the growth rate of breast cancer cells. So try to keep a stash of nuts and seeds in your pantry for a quick snack or to put them on your salads. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm not going over any spices in this video, I'm actually saving those for another video because there are so many amazing spices like turmeric, ginger, oregano that also have powerful cancer-fighting properties, and they really deserve their own video. So stay tuned for that. Finally, breast cancer superfood number 10, olive oil. It's high in healthy monounsaturated fats and antioxidants, and extra virgin olive oil in particular is high in something called oleocanthal, a compound shown to reduce inflammation and breast cancer risk, so I recommend to use it as your primary cooking oil, or you can use it in salad dressings because you can get the health benefits from it whether you cook with it or eat it raw. At the end of the day, to lower our breast cancer risk, we want to be eating things that are high in antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory compounds. And all the foods I went over today have these cancer-fighting abilities. Whether you're focused on preventing breast cancer or keeping it in remission, adding more of these foods to your diet will reduce your risk. So why not start today? I'm leaving you with another helpful video to watch next that I think you'll enjoy, and I'll see you next week.